everyone, 你好, greetings from Silver Spring, Maryland. This is Xian. I'm a Chinese teacher from the DC International School. We're an IB for all school, and I work with middle school kids from 6th to 8th graders. I teach IB MYP courses for phase 1 and phase 3. Today, my presentation topic is about how to build positive classroom environment during remote learning. Okay, so let's dive in. As a teacher that has been trained in the US and worked for the past 8-9 years, I started my career as teaching by taking the training of Danielson's framework for pathways. And 4 domains that always remind myself consistently are domain 1, planning and prep, domain 2, classroom environment, domain 3, instruction, domain 4, professional responsibilities. So today I'm going to talk about classroom environment under domain 2. And there are a few strands under this category. And today we are going to talk about how to create an environment of respect and rapport, alongside with establishing a culture for learning. So why do we need to build rapport with students and parents, especially during the time of the remote learning? Those are some reasons I can think about. The first is get students engaged. It is incredibly hard to engage our kids during this time of learning because kids don't see us, we don't see them, and they may have a lot of things going on at home. Maybe for some kids, learning is not as important as taking care of their siblings or helping their parents. So it is critically important at this time for us educators to still get our kids bonded with us and connected with us. The second reason is motivate students when we are not physically around. In a traditional classroom setting, we can move to wherever we want in the classroom and tap on student's shoulder. Hey, how are you doing? Do you need help? I see you're not on task. But at remote learning time, they don't see us being around, so they don't feel that sense of urgency. So through the Zoom screen or whatever online learning platform we're used, how do we motivate them when we're not physically with them? Number 3, instill confidence in them. Kids need to be reminded that they're doing great and they can do it. But without seeing us and getting one-on-one attention from the teachers, they may not feel as confident as before. And without confidence, they will show less interest in the course or less engagement. So how can we, as educators, still instill a sense of confidence in our kids? Number 4, help kids go through this difficult time. This pandemic time is very hard. We never know what is going on with our students' lives, what kind of stress they're dealing with, their families are dealing with. So as educators, seeing us smiling at them, giving them individual attentions, or making class fun, those are all the small things that you never know may change their whole mindset. Number 5, they will do more if they like you. For the kids you have a relationship with, they are there for you. They know you're a teacher who cares, so they want to do well for their reasons and maybe for your reasons. But what about for the kids who just come to our school? What about the kids who never met you, who never learned about you, your personality? So what we can do through remote learning to earn kids' likes, trust, and respect, so that they like you more and they like your class more and they can do more. The last one is we cannot do it without parent support. So now parents are kind of like the facilitators at home. They are the people who remind the kids to do certain work, who supervise kids, and who reminds kids when they're off task. And teaching is a partnership. Especially at this time, we need to build strongly with parents. So if we don't get parent support, we couldn't do it by ourselves. So those are the 6 important reasons that I think which should urge us to still build a relationship with the kids, with the parents, and the importance, the reasons why we're doing so. And how about importance of creating culture of learning? The first reason I can think about is students know that we have the same or even higher expectation during the remote learning time. So if we just let it float, say, hey, it's remote learning time, we're not there and we don't expect you to learn as much as we were learning in class, because that's just the nature of remote learning. Then students will be like, okay, if you don't care, I can care less. The second reason is fun activities help improve engagement. We're teaching kids, and kids, they like to be fun. And if it's something fun to them, they want to do more. Especially like what I mentioned before, we are not around them. So if we present something interesting in front of them, and that will definitely improve their engagement with your class course. The third reason is socializing keeps us connected. And something to think about is how do we stay connected as a community during remote learning time? With students staying isolated at each house, and maybe some of them are Google Hangout with close friends with theirs, but they're not seeing other peers in a school setting. So, and without a sense of socializing or without the sense belonging of groups, it's really hard to create a classroom, a fun or a comfortable learning environment. So how do we keep all those kids connected as a whole group instead of just letting the kids who are close to each other get together? And that's something we can think about, that's something we can do. The last reason is love of learning conquers challenges in personal management. If students love you as their teacher, if they trust you, if they feel you're a teacher who challenge them, encourage them, push them more to do more work, and they will conquer their lack of skills in personal management, such as time management. I teach middle school, and a lot of my young kids, they cannot manage the different schedule because there is no teacher waiting for them at a certain time in a certain room. They have to set a schedule or daily reminder to know 9 o'clock is for math, 11 o'clock is for Chinese. And as young as they are, they don't have the skill to manage those time. And also being organized. Some of them are just so young, so they don't have a lot of time to practice yet. But if we hold them accountable, if we earn their trust, and they will do it for you, and gradually they're going to get that skill. So those are the 4 reasons I can think about why we need to create culture of learning. Challenge of building rapports at this time. Well, building relationship with kids and parents are so important, but why building this rapport is much more difficult than traditional school setting? First, we do not see, smell, or feel each other. When it comes to personal relationship, the best way to have bounded is you see this person. Like, imagine how you build, if you're a parent, like I do, think about how you build your relationship with your own kids. You hold them, you talk to them, you smile at them, right? And you read stories to them, and you give them those facial expressions and the reactions, response when something happy happens, when something upsetting happens, That's how we as humans build a relationship, personal, impersonal, interpersonal relationship between each other. But at this time, we just don't see it. We see each other like how you see me. You never met me. You see me from screen. You can understand what I'm saying, but you don't know me as a person, right? So that's why it is so hard to build a relationship. The second reason, good impressions and memories are fading away. Even for the kids you had a beautiful relationship with when the school was opening, well, we don't see each other and we have so much work to do, so much stress happening around each of us. So those things just kind of like wash the good memories away. So those memories, they're not being refreshed. And we forgot the fun memories we had together. We have to be reminded. We forgot what is so special about that kid and what is so special about that teacher. Number 3, new students and I never met. That really concerns me because when the new year starts, I'm going to have a lot of new 6th graders who will come to my school, but they never met me. I don't know when will they meet me, but they will never meet me. And if the school will be keep being closed, I don't know when will be the first official time that we meet each other. So that just lead to the number 4 reason. You can't just give your trust to someone that you never met, right? So those are the critical challenge we are facing, and those are real. Now, how about the challenge of creating culture of learning? Why it is hard? 4 reasons. Number 1, the lack of a sense of a community. Okay, we are not being confined in one room. We do not endure a lot of things anymore together. We do not share the same laughters or share the same confusement or having a discussion about certain topics. And we don't learn about each other's personality, whether it is funny or is goofy, or some kids can be naughty, or what kind of teacher you are, So there's no sense of community, especially for new kids in a new school. Number 2, new students are not used to our teaching style, personalities, and expectations. So especially for the kids and mentor kids who are coming to middle school, or middle school kids who come to high school, the school can be new to them. The teacher has different personality, different teaching style is totally different from their previous teachers. So without seeing the teacher and being checked in by teachers and showing teacher your confused expression, so all those things, how can the teachers, us, know if the kids, they're confused about something or they're not used to a teaching style, So with Zoom or the remote learning, the in-person communication about this aspect is not there. So how do we create a culture of learning when the in-person communication is not there? And 3, students are isolated from one another. In a traditional school setting, if I don't know something, if I don't know what to do, I just pick at my neighbor and see what that person is doing, and I will do the same thing. Or just whisper to that person, oh, what we need to do now, And those cues help us to learn. But with Zoom, your peers, they're not there, and maybe sometimes you feel shamed to ask a teacher a question because you think you're stupid. So without that support from your peers and from your teachers, the spontaneous help from your peers and teachers, and how can we still create a culture of learning? And last one is, it will take a much longer time to trust someone. Well, we can still build relationship, we can still build culture of learning, but with the remote learning approach, it just take, I don't know how many folds of time to create that And the trust level won't be as same as the one we could build when it comes to teaching.